period and rejuvenation strategies. I would also like to request all the participants to keep their microphones on mute while a speaker is presenting to avoid unnecessary disturbance. The question and answer will be at the end of the webinar. To ask a question, please send the question along with the name of the speaker to the moderator privately on the chat. Moderator is me. Okay. The webinar is focused on the micro entrepreneurs, and we have invited 6 speakers to talk on the same. Among our speakers, there are 2 speakers from the banking background, 1 industrialist, 1 entrepreneur, and 2 Moonsmith faculty members. We invite our first speaker, Mr. Sanjay Jain, Regional Head, SIDBI, Hyderabad. Mr. Jain has over 3 decades of experience in MSME finance. Sir, we can start with your presentation now.
Good afternoon all. Is it audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Yes, sir, it's audible. Okay. I think sound is echoing. Is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, now it is. This is I'm Sanjay Jain. I'm Regional Head of SIDBI here. SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India, is a special institution for MSMEs in India. SIDBI has been operating various schemes for promotion, financing, and development of the MSMEs. In view of COVID-19, MSMEs are facing various challenges due to lockdown. Production or services have been interrupted. Now they have to restart their production, most of them, except the industries which are into the essential services or like food processing, medicines. For restarting, they will be facing various challenges. So liquidity is one of the key challenges, which will affect all other aspects of their operation, whether it is labor requirement, whether it is supply chain management, whether it is getting orders, transportation, all of this. But liquidity is one such problem which will be faced by all the MSMEs after they restart their operations. SIDBI has been taking various schemes for addressing the issue. Recently, we have introduced 2-3 schemes. I will brief the participant about 2-3 new schemes of SIDBI, which has been launched recently for helping the MSMEs in this present situation. First is the scheme called SAFE. This scheme was launched for helping the MSME which are manufacturing products related to COVID fight, like ventilators, like thermal scanners, masks, sanitizers, and different other items which are required for fighting the COVID. Any product which is directly related with the fight with the COVID, which helps it, can be financed under this particular scheme. Basic advantage, what is the feature of this scheme is that, number one, this scheme comes at a very simple mechanism. Here, we can process the application online, need not even coming. Documents can be submitted through email, and loan can be processed within 48 hours. We can sanction the assistance within 48 hours. Here, assistance up to 50 lakh, which can be enhanced up to 100 lakh based on the government order, confirmed government order, can be enhanced to 100 lakh. This can be used for capex as well as opex both, purchase of raw material or payment, and any input required for manufacturing any COVID-related product. Rate of interest under this scheme is 5% per annum, which is reducing balance, and tenure is if it is for working capital up to 18 months, and if it is for machine etc., then it is up to 5 years. And even credit guarantee charges, which will be borne by SIDBI. Customer will not be required to pay even credit guarantee charges. SIDBI will not be insisting on any collateral security under this scheme. And no margin will also insisted. 100% funding of the requirement can be done under this. So customers or any MSME unit can approach any of the SIDBI branch. We have a branch in Balanagar, we have a branch in Hyderabad, two branches in Telangana. In Andhra, we have two branches, Vijayawada as well as Visakhapatnam. Almost every state in India, we have the offices where customers can approach and avail assistance for manufacturing any COVID-related product. Second product which we launched is about the startup. Any startup which has been on operation for more than 3 years, they will be also requiring a lot of liquidity to manage their salaries, their electricity, rental payments during this lockdown period and thereafter. So SIDBI has announced a special scheme called COVID Startup Assistance Scheme. Under assistance up to 2 crore is available under this scheme. Here the requirement is startup has to be more than 3 years old. Their turnover has to be more than 10 crore, and they should have been assisted by some other fund in the past. And there should be some visibility about the positive cash flows about the unit in near future. So assistance up to 2 crore without any collateral security. Here what we are trying in all our schemes is, we are not insisting on any collateral. We are trying to make these schemes online sort of schemes. We are trying to make these schemes fast track with simplified mechanism and low rate of interest so that MSMEs can take benefit of this scheme. Another scheme which we have launched for our existing customers is immediately we are sanctioning 20% additional limit for all our customers, whether it is term loan or it is working capital. We are extending assistance up to 20% without much paperwork. And here again, RBI has extended 15,000 crore line of credit to SIDBI. Against that, these funds at subsidized rate will be given to the MSME. These funds of 15,000 which we have got from RBI will be extended directly to SIDBI customers as well as through banks and NBFC and MFI. SIDBI has opened this line of credit to all the banks and NBFC and MFI so that they can extend credit to their MSME customer. One more scheme is because what we feel is this lockdown is short term, maybe 1 month or like that, but its effect will be long term. So our MSME need to raise long term funds instead of the short term funds, because whatever this ad hoc limit, etc., are for 3 years or 1 year or like that. We have a scheme called business loan scheme under which we extend loan up to 10 crore. This is a 10 years. And assistance up to 10 crore is available depending upon the value of security and the cash flows of the unit. Advantage under this scheme is this is an open loan scheme where the funds can be utilized for any business purpose. It can be used for working capital, it can be used for payment of raw material, it can be used for payment of salary. Any business related expenditure need not be specified in advance, can be considered as per the requirement of the open, which can be availed during next, after sanction 1 year it can be availed. Rate of interest are competitive and simplified processes are there. So these are some of the schemes through which we are trying to help the MSME to meet their liquidity requirement and continue their operation or restart their operations and again come on the growth path. That's it from my side for the time being. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite our second speaker, Mr. Debashish Mishra, Business Head for MSME and Deputy General Manager, SBI, Hyderabad. Mr. Mishra has over 2 decades of experience in the field. Sir, you can proceed with the presentation now.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I think after Mr. Sanjay, as has given a almost full line of products, let me give a scenario which SBI seems or SBI appears to have seen in the present COVID situation and what we're trying to do for our MSMEs. So what we expect is a more or less quick recovery towards the month of June or maybe July. And mostly the business linked to consumption and healthcare may revive faster than the other sectors like the logistics, entertainment, tourism, transport. So they may take some more time. But the good news is much of these players in this sector are large players. So MSMEs will be not very much impacted until unless they are ancillary units to this kind of large industries. So what we are now trying to do is to help and support the industries to bridge the liquidity mismatch. And secondly, because there'll be some kind of a low demand and a low productivity in this year. So there also we are coming to help to understand the working capital cycle of the industries, and wherever necessary, will support with additional funding when the receivables are not realized in the due course of time. So another way of supporting the MSME is restructuring, which already we have done in a big way last year. This year also RBI has permitted restructuring of stressed assets to the extent of MSMEs who are classified in MSME Act 2006. So we can increase the repayment period, we can increase the moratorium period, we can revise the repayment amount. So restructuring will be also help to revive those MSMEs who are under stress. We also have deferred the installments which are due for the month of March, April, and May for all our customers. Like I can say now, we have more than 7.5 lakh customers, and then recently we have got a confirmation that more than 75,000 have opted to cancel the SI also. So that also we have done. It is done through online, and we have a team which are working up on this to process those applications and take it forward. Coming back to the specific product or the schemes or the facilities, let me highlight here two important kind of solutions we have started now for MSME. The first one is called a common COVID credit line. That is, as the name suggests, this is a easy, simple, and very fast solution for all the industries to handle this present situation. Here, the limit or the maximum amount one can take is around 10% of the working capital limit already with the bank, and the processing is almost in a day. And the best part is we are giving 6 months moratorium in this scheme. So if you take it now, for example, in the month of April, so we'll start repayment only from the month of October. So you can opt for 6 months moratorium and start repaying once your production or your business starts, and then you repay in 18 months time. So this kind of a medium term loan, although it is for working capital, but we are giving a medium term kind of arrangement where there will be no much stress on the industries as of now. Here, the best part is this is given as a rock bottom price. Like the interest rate is the lowest in the industry, the lowest ever in the history of SBI. We are giving at MCLR, that is 7.40% as of now. So with such a low rate, we are offering because you know that the businesses here are suffering from liquidity mismatch. So charging a high rate will be definitely taking the bottom line. So that's why we are giving at a very low rate. And one more thing added to this scheme is we are given the sanctioning powers to branches and the local level. Like I am sitting in the head office, so mostly the large proposals comes to head office and also medium proposals comes to us. But in this case, all proposals will be sanctioned, disbursed at the local level. I'll tell you for the listeners or the participants in this group that we know that the present lockdown has put another restriction in movement, and maybe the stamping and other requirements for documentation are not possible. So here also I liberalize the documentation part, stamping part. With the undertaking by the borrowers, we can defer the documentation for 90 days and disburse the amount. So such as the facility for this emergency credit line, which will help every borrower, every SME, every MSME to handle the present situation. The second and the most important part to understand is working capital assessment. As you know that this particular amount is based on the turnover. So we are now coming up with a separate scheme called liberalized working capital assessment or LWCA, where we'll take the future turnover or the turnover for financial 2021, and based on that we can go up to 33% of the limit, because the cycle is generally taken 20% of the turnover, but we are increased 33% because we want to make the funds available in a larger amount so that even the cycle is long, it may not affect the profitability. Here also we are thinking to add the cover period of receivables by more than 90 days. And again, as I told you, lockdown period has some restriction in movement. So in this loan product, we are waiving the pre-sanction inspections because there is a movement restriction by my people also. And also we don't want borrowers to take much risk. So pre-sanction kind of formalities will be waived for this scheme. So my point is, these are the two flagship schemes which we have already rolled out. We also have some more like standby line of credit, SME assist. These are only focused towards MSMEs to to avail credit at a very low cost and handle the COVID situation. I further say, as I have already mentioned, that MSME restructuring is one which is a RBI governed restructuring scheme where the stressed accounts can be get additional time for revival. So I urge all the viewers, all the listeners in this webinar that whenever you are under stress, please go for the restructuring scheme. So from my side, that is what introduction. I can take more questions afterwards. Thank you, Nimsmi. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite our third speaker, Mr. V. Padmanand, partner, Grant Thornton, LLP. Mr. Padmanand has published over 10 books on industrial development, entrepreneurship, cluster value chain development, and developing farmer producing organizations. Sir, you may proceed with your presentation now.
Yeah, thank you, Nimsme, and also other distinguished audience and experts. Now, basically, what we can look at this the COVID rehabilitation option in 2 or 3 contexts. One is from the economy, whole economy perspective. Next is from what is the government going to do, and third is what government and support institutions going to do or are doing, and in the context of what an enterprise should do or a business should do. So what we find is, in the context of the total economy, we find certain sectors have been or are likely to be severely affected. Now, and some are less likely to be less affected. Like, for example, if you look at the telecom, pharma, IT, and agri and chemical sector, you may find that the impact in terms of the effect on the growth rates vis-a-vis the similar time frame last year has been between -5 to -20% only. In the case of mining, freight, and logistics, it has been between -20. It has been more than 50%. So you'll find that some sectors have been severely affected and are likely to be severely affected, while others are relatively less and more resilient. Now, this is one context. The other one is, if you look at from the supply side, MSMEs particularly will be hit, particularly those in the manufacturing sector, will be hit, are likely to be hit very hard by supply side issues. Like, for example, you look at the leather industry. The product is perishable, but they are not allowed to work throughout the Tamil Nadu region and also in UP and other regions where we have large clusters. Product perishable, market demand is also something that can disappear overnight, but functioning is not yet permitted. Similarly, if you look at demand shocks, export-oriented large clusters, right from Tirupur to the leather cluster to also partly the automotive segment, are also severely affected by demand shocks. So what we need to look at is what will the government do in terms of fostering or increasing demand through government consumption, encouraging private consumption, and also in the longer term, medium to longer term, export demand also. So a fiscal stimulus is most critical. This is from the economic context. From the government policy context, various state governments have been undertaking pioneering initiatives to support the MSME sector in this regime. For example, Tamil Nadu, through their TIIC, the State Government Financial Institutions, SIPCOT, are offering loans with interest subvention of up to even 6%. Similarly, typical 3 to 4 months moratorium on debt payments is also being offered. So a lot of many good initiatives by the Tamil Nadu government. Similarly, in Kerala also, right from waiver for 3 months of rent paid by units in industrial estate to deferment of dues to new soft loans for 3 years with 1 year moratorium up to 50 lakh without collateral is offered by state government financing institutions. So these are some laudable and model initiatives by the state government. Now, what should the industry do in this context? Now, industry, what we need to work on and what we need to do is there are 3 or 4 major issues. One is we need to ensure that our cash flow is perfect, meaning cash flow may be have to done on a weekly basis, maybe even on a daily basis by the manufacturing sector. Similarly, the payments needs to be delayed to the extent possible and similar credit secured to the extent possible. Similarly, all the fixed costs need to be converted to the variable costs to the extent feasible, and accordingly cash flow be managed. So these are the immediate short-term project initiatives that need to be taken by the industry sector. So what we need is a judicious mix of appropriate interventions by the government in terms of fostering demand and creating a conducive environment for demand and operation of enterprises. The second one is with regarding to add state government policy, mainly in terms of cash related support to existing MSME sector. Third one is appropriate business action by the enterprises themselves in terms of better cash flow planning, in terms of operating more on the basis of variable costs and fixed costs. Third one, maybe operating 3 shifts to ensure social distancing immediately after the COVID pandemic. So you don't work for 1 shift, but maybe for 3 shifts as to maintain productivity. So various such initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Now I
Thank
would
you.
like to, yes, sir. Now I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Hemang Palan, partner, Palan Group of Industries, MSME. Mr. Palan has government recognized Star Export House having manufacturing units at Bhiwandi, Kolhapur, and outsourcing variety of products all over India for exports of textile fabrics across the globe. Sir, you may proceed with your presentation now. Sir, your microphone is on mute. Hemang, sir, your microphone is on mute.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all. Today, this lasts too long. The impact of the economic shock will be bigger than what we are experiencing from the virus itself. So we need to look at both, how to stop the virus and how to help the economy emerge without structural damage. When we look at the shape of the crisis to come, we see 2 imperatives driving the response. The first one is to safeguard our lives. We need to contain the pandemic, and that means suppressing the virus as fast as possible. The second imperative is to safeguard our livelihoods. That means supporting people and MSME businesses immediately affected by the lockdown. Our governments have responded at unprecedented speed and scale. Now we need to figure out how to get back to work safely. The lockdowns, whether they last 2 weeks or 2 months, may succeed at suppressing the virus, but the virus will still be here. Now the challenge we have is how to resume work despite high risk until vaccine or proper solution is found. I think this is much more severe than the 2008 global financial crisis and much more steeper than the Great Depression of the 1930s. We have to knock on effects on our economy. An economic policy response is what our governments do to cushion the initial blow and then accelerate the recovery. The scenario is highly effective interventions that enable the economy to bounce back in V-shaped recovery. The sector relies on partially effective interventions. The response prevents the worst for many, but not for all businesses and individuals. Lastly, we could have ineffective interventions, which would result in recovery taking a very long time for many of the small businesses, which is L-shaped. Now, what is the situation? Some businesses, of course, are benefiting from the pandemic because they sell services or manufacture products that are in high demand. But many small businesses will be struggling to survive due to declines in sales and orders that would lead to business failure. If India's lockdown is extended, some MNC may shift orders that have resumed normal industrial production. such as China, South Korea, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Taiwan, etc. Now, what are the challenges for MSME businesses? Once we resume with social distancing, availability of workers and staff as well as absenteeism, protection of employees from infection and competitors, transportation of employees to commute, maintenance of plant machinery and premises, salary and wages, shortage of resources and supply, planning of receiving raw materials and delivery of products, marketing of consumption of non-essential sectors, volatilities in prices of inputs and supply, and tax payments, bank installment, bank interest service, cash flow rotation. Sadly, there are many small businesses owners who are at high risk. They function on a day-to-day basis on marginally run operations due to which they don't have cash reserves. Their businesses are overextended and overpaid. Now, what we relate in 2008 during crisis, the recovery was fast due to plenty of liquidity was available. Banks were willing to lend, and consumers were willing to spend. If governments and banks managed to provide ample liquidity, overshadow the negative aspects and let the wheel of economy catch momentum. To the restart production, basic funds will be required, which banks can only provide. Banks now prefer to keep funds with RBI. Banks are working with very low staff and lending takes backstage. Moreover, accountability for lending also come into picture because a lot of banks are already facing the NPA issues. So, hence reliance will be on credit worthiness of borrower based on track record. Many advanced accounts may be due in the next few days. Financial parameters for compliance of March 2020 will not be available for quite some months. Many units may not have achieved estimated figures given during last review, so their credit rating will be down. Even for current financial year, also the projection may not be that rosy, necessitating bank to reduce the existing limits. Hence, authorities to come out clearly with guidelines that in case improvement in credit rating is there, it should be allowed, and if downgrading is there, it should be ignored for a period of time. There should not be any interest burden on the borrowers due to this. Stock audit valuation for properties given as mortgage to be postponed as fresh valuation will not be same as earlier. Instead of 25% advance and the sales turnover method, 35-40% for the next few years. Under CMA method, similar concessions to be allowed in current ratio so that existing limits are not reduced.
Moderator, nothing is audible. Can you please ask or revise the audio sounds, please?
Okay, now clear? Now you can hear?
Yes,
But
sir.
you can
Hello?
please go faster.
Yeah, okay. Many other hurdles will vary from product to product. Various seasonal products which will now be kept for almost a year for next season. So drawing power should be allowed for such stocks and also debtors for 90 days, say up to 120 or 150 days. Existing borrowers already got moratorium and fresh top-up limit as announced by RBI and government already. However, many micro and small businesses who have never borrowed needs to be included by giving specific schemes to manage working capital gaps. Also, collateral-free bill discounting against earlier sales, which are subject to delay of payments up to 5 to 10 lakhs can be announced for micro entrepreneurs. What we expect from central and state governments in the current situation: boost consumption, help to diversify, create job portals to mitigate workers wherever they are required, sanitization, protection, supply help, act like disaster management response for employment and work. Migrant workers registration data should be created. And we expect to fast track some FII, FDI proposals. And what would be the strategies and solutions in the current scenario for MSME? They can reach out to vendors, buyers, lenders, landlords, workers, etc., and discuss honestly about situation and find how they are going to help each other to survive and fight together. Sit down and give yourself the time to make a plan for which is happening. Prepare honest list of strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats of your enterprise and your particular sector. Stay calm and be prepared to hold the ground mentally. Explore to diversify and innovate if your product has no demand in the current situation. take cue from car manufacturers and other large companies that are switching over their operations to produce face masks, disinfectants, and other needed supplies. Collaborate with other business, think outside the box. Maybe you and your other associates can go together and figure solutions to some problems. अगर बड़ा बनना है तो बड़ा बन जाओ या बड़े के साथ जुड़ जाओ. Know your numbers. Business survival. Now more than ever, depending on knowing your numbers, go over your books, get all the numbers down on paper, check your insurance policy with current situation of inventory, stocks, goods in transit, employees, health insurance, etc. And explore central, state, and private assistance programs. Reach out to avail assistance as per needed. Determine your business lease or rental options. Be strategic and brutal about cutting the cost. Reconsider how much office space you need. Look for low-cost marketing techniques. Develop multiple revenue streams. These are some solutions which can be implemented by the small and medium entrepreneurs who tide out this crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite our NIMSNI faculty, Mr. K. Surya Prakash Gaur, faculty member, School of Enterprise Development, NIMSME. Mr. Gaur specializes in the cluster development project. Sir, you may proceed with your presentation now.
Yeah. Good afternoon, friends. Myself, Surya Prakash. I'm faculty member working with School of Enterprise Development. And today I want to focus on MSME clusters. Today we have more than 6.32 crore MSME units, in which about 11 crore workforce are involved to make the products, MSME products. But because of COVID, there's a lot of problems when you talk about clusters. And in India, we have large number of artisan clusters, mostly handloom and handloom clusters. About 6,600 clusters are there in the country. And today, because of COVID, most of the skilled workers in many of the clusters, they left the clusters to other places. Whereas some of the people, they didn't get job opportunities, because of which they had problem and scarcity of raw material and also working capital. So there is no production and hence no wages for the artisans. So that is the biggest challenge today all the clusters are facing with. And once we come out of this COVID, so most of our clusters will be facing, as our earlier colleagues mentioned, liquid cash. So because it is very difficult for them to pay salaries, power bills, rent, property and water taxes, telephone and internet charges, bank loans. Apart from that, GST as well as other taxes which is required to be paid, right? So in this scenario, at this point of time, so what they have to do? What I feel, they have to focus on capacity building, because most of the time these traditional industries are making traditional products and using traditional methods. So this is the time to upgrade themselves and import skills for the low skilled laborers and artisans for product design and development. And there's a lot of opportunities for exports as well as to sell online. So e-commerce opportunities are there. And very importantly, financial literacy. So in these areas, we can focus and encourage artisans to build their capacities. Apart from that, they have to look at new products, new markets, and new customers. So this is a time where they can spend time and get information and be ready to get the business. And not only that, they have to review their business operations also. So right from raw material procurement till they market the product. Because raw materials, as Padmananji mentioned, whether it is a leather industry or pharmaceutical industries, getting raw material once you restart the business it may be difficult. There may be scarcity of raw material also. So they must plan accordingly. And also workforce, because most of the clusters, especially migrated artisans, they left the organizations in the place. So the availability of skilled labor also a challenge. So we have to focus on that. And today, our government of India is focusing a lot on improvement, continuous improvement. So our clusters, they focus on 5S, Kaizen, as well as Lean to improve the skills of our artisans. And not only that, once you restart your businesses, definitely whatever you have to get it from the market, it will be difficult for you to get it back in time. So it is already delayed, it may be further delayed. So you must be ready and wait for a long time. So for which you have to work with bankers and plan yourself. Apart from that, there'll be lots of opportunities because people are looking at India now, leaving China. So our MSME sector and clusters may get very good orders in large numbers. So our people have to focus on getting large orders, especially from the long-lasting customers. So we have to focus upon the particular thing, and also quality is important. So apart from our traditional methods, you have to look at automation at least in marketing area. So that is very, very important, and accordingly, you have to upgrade at this point of time. Apart from that, our artisans must be in a position to plan their business at least for 6 months after starting the business today itself, because procurement of all their resources may be a challenge. So though government of India is taking many steps regarding working capital, etc., but individually they have to plan their businesses and be ready for the production. And apart from that, the local artisans, because of scarcity of labor today, they can identify new people. There are many people looking at traditional activities. They can encourage new entrants and import skills and make them ready for the production. And apart from that, what else we can do from the government side? Already our speakers have mentioned several good initiatives by Government of India related to providing working capital and other things. So definitely there'll be support from the government, but entrepreneurs, as per their requirement, we have to support them. So the scenario will change from cluster to cluster, so cluster and region to region. So as per the region, as per the local conditions, bankers have to encourage and assist clusters in which cluster associations, implementing agencies, special purpose vehicles have to focus a lot and work closely with bankers and restructure their financials and prepare their action plan, and whatever additional working capital is required. Right now, they have to discuss with the bankers and be ready with all their requirements for the production. And we may encourage artisans to go for new product lines, but at the same time, to get more benefits and meet the present challenges and also support bankers, clusters may focus on sectoral interventions. Sorry, like common production, procurement, common production and marketing, where it is easy for the bankers also to support the cluster enterprises. Apart from that, we can encourage migrants, artisans to start their businesses in their own areas, and also keeping the present scenario, we can encourage clusters to go for diversification. They can go for manufacturing of hygiene products, right, which is having a lot of demand in the for the next 2 to 3 years. So that is very, very important. And definitely interventions of Government of India and support from various ministries will help our MSME clusters to come back and do better business in coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our last speaker, Dr. Dibyendu Chaudhary, faculty member, School of Enterprise Management, NIMSME. Dr. Chaudhary is an expert in the e-commerce platform and consumer behavior. Sir, you may start with your presentation now.
Well, very good afternoon to all the dignitaries. I'm Dr. Chaudhary, and I'm the faculty member from School of Enterprise Management. My entire topic will be concentrated on e-commerce because majority of the earlier dignitaries, they have discussed about the challenges. Challenges remain the same because there is a scarcity of demand, there is a scarcity of finance, there is the work environment we need to manage, and policy decisions and supply chain management. All these challenges are there, and also the biggest challenge for MSME will be in the real time that MSMEs, I said that MSMEs are closed, but at the same time, the salary, the fixed cost, the variable cost, everything, and also the statutory costs, they are been going on. So in the slide, I have shown the red zone to orange zone to green zone post-COVID. And over there, most probably the automobile and all other sectors like aviation and maritime and tourism, leisure, these have been mostly affected. They are into red zone. They are the potential losers at this point of time because this is the picture what I'm showing when the pandemic is still going on. We have not yet came at the end. So maybe if this pandemic gets prolonged or the tail gets little end together, so the result will be different. And the potential gainers are like medical supply, e-services, food processing, retail, personal, healthcare, ICT, e-commerce. So these are the different potentials and challenges. As I was discussing, that policy decision and supply chain management is very important. Assessing emergency support is also very important. The salary part is the biggest challenge for the MSMEs, and the statutory pricing which is going on during this lockdown period, that's also a burden for the MSMEs. Like this includes tax concession, easy access to credit, GST write-offs, all these things. I think government, they need to think about, and they need to give specific schemes for the MSME. There is a necessary beefing up country's healthcare system, and we'll be seeing all the futuristic investment into all this. MSME sector is clueless right now that how to pay the salaries, raise funds in view of low lockdown, and despite measures announced by the Indian Finance Minister and RBI. So many of the MSMEs, they expect a few more announcements to relieve from their woes for about 25% commercial credit exposure to the bank they have, according to March 2019 data. So immediate challenge for MSME will be to pay their statutory wage and paying the creditors. So I'll be not talking much about the challenges because challenges we know, all we are aware. Very recently, our honorable minister, that is Shri Gadkari ji, he has declared that MSMEs are going to have 1 lakh crore fund for the small farms, MSME sectors. And this fund is basically divided into two parts. One is easy, immediate support for the MSMEs, and another the fund is targeted towards the long-term requirement because we don't know what will be needed in the longer terms. So we can understand from our earlier speakers from SIDBI and SBI that they have got the different credit lines, and these are the credit lines basically to help the MSMEs. So suggested relief measures to address the challenge, that is employee salary, maybe during this lockdown period, that is ESI scheme. And in the meantime, salaries paid by MSMEs for the lockdown period shall be considered as a ESI credit to be adjusted for the future payments. This is very important because ESI can be adjusted later so that the entrepreneurs, they won't face the immediate challenge. At this point, the time, the risk-aversive, conservative approach by the public sector bank will only worsen the situation. Government may need to print money without thinking about GDP, inflation, deflation in longer terms. Government may consider allowing payment of GST arrears in installments, along with current due with 6 months moratorium without cancelling the GST registration. Some SME associations, they have also asked to government to allow units that have facility of social distancing to operate, and especially during the lockdown time. So three shift work also can be accommodated over there. So life will not be the same after the COVID, because we have understood that this COVID, maybe we have to live for longer time. So there, what kind of expectation MSMEs of India we have? Finance Minister has announced few tweaks by extending tax filing deadlines. Then government has also raised threshold for starting insolvency proceeding to 1 crore. Apart from this, bank charges have been also lowered for the digital trade transaction for all trade finance corporations. Former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram ji has also recommended a slew of measures government can take take to help to industry, including more tax breaks and softer terms loans. So Indian MSMEs are still expecting few more announcements in these lines from Government of India sooner. So proposed policy framework may be considered like measures to mitigate the impact of MSME labor workforce, specific measures for self-employed or owner-managed enterprises, because these two types of businesses should be distinguished. Measures to divert the utility and social security payment, measures to enhance the access to credit, revival plan, short-term, mid-term, and long-range. It should be the key trade open, and how to keep it like short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Concessional financing, tax reductions and grants, employment incentives, technical assistance, and regulatory measures require major revamp to NMCP and VDV scheme. These are the schemes which we have into micro, small, and medium enterprise ministry. So, and continuously monitoring and revising the schemes and things together. So this is the one of the caricature I have found very recently on the internet, and over there, all the entrepreneurs who are right now facing this challenge of COVID. One thing is very intriguing, and that's the reason I have given this picture, that if you look into the fit, you see that it is written dream high but stick to the ground. That is in one side, and another side, the leg is that keep going in tough times. So entrepreneurs and enterprises will never stop in during this time. And I'm sure that we'll be having a lot of opportunities in coming time. So when we discuss about the opportunities, uh, I see that there are two types of opportunities coming up from the e-commerce side. In B2C side, same day slot-based deliveries are coming up very recently. So we can see that Flipkart, then Amazon, they are doing this. Customer is at heart of e-commerce. So consumers, they will be always the pivotal point for us. Great last mile delivery service. This has to get improved in coming time. Warehousing, barcoding, recycling. These are the few of the things which are already existing, but recycling is going to come up very fast. Robotics, artificial intelligence will get engaged. Automated no-touch delivery system, which is drone-based, that is already coming up into Western countries. Maybe in India also, these are all coming in. Direct human interaction and face-to-face meeting, traveling will be further reduced. So this B2C side has got a huge potential, like estimated $200 billion by 2026. In B2 side, as Government of India will try to find immediate relief for Indian MSMEs to grow, CHAIM, then central procurement website, vendor development scheme, Make in India, all these will find growth. other online channels for e-procurement for large enterprises, that is e-Junction by Tata Steel, e-Chopal by ITC, Digital India initiatives, that is Sugamma, Bharat Abhiyan, BHIM. All these will flourish in coming time. And this B2B side, the potential by 2026 is $300 billion. So national e-commerce policy, our government of India, we have released by 2019, and that is basically dependent upon 6 pillars, they say. And the first pillar is the privacy of the data. Second pillar is the infrastructure development. Next is e-commerce marketplace. So e-commerce marketplace is like GM, will be flourishing much more in better way. Regulatory issues, stimulating domestic digital economy, and export promotion through e-commerce. Next picture, if the slide can show, we can see that couple of very interesting pictures like Amazon. They have already started delivering through drones, and some of the restaurants already they have the waitress, which are robots. So these are the market which are coming up very fast. So when we think about all this, so technology has to also upgrade. So there is a IT boom which will be coming in these 4 areas like data-enabled healthcare initiatives will increase scalable digital business models will start to replace product-focused operation. E-commerce will experience a renaissance, digital collaboration and entertainment tools to see an upsurge in valuation. So it's a time to rethink about all the business models. First is we are looking for more investment in HR, more investment in IT and IS, and more investment will come into innovations. Thank you very much for all of your presentation. Let me give thanks to all our previous speakers at this point of time. Like Mr. Sanjay Jain from SIDBI, he talked about safe any product to fight COVID-19, 48-hour sanction, 50 lakhs, COVID startup, any startup operating more than 3 years to 2 crore, existing entrepreneurs scheme and long-term fund. So he talked about 4 schemes in over there here for all the listeners. Mr. Debashish Mishra from SBI, he talked about common COVID credit line, which is 10% of working capital, 6 months moratorium for working capital. MCLR will be 7.40. That is one of the lowest interest product they have. And they have also the deferred stamping duty on this particular product. And another product he talked about LWCA, future turnover with longer term loan. So no pay sanction inspection is needed for that particular product. So thank you, sir. Mr. V. Padmanand from Grant Thornton, he talked about different state-specific good schemes. So maybe central government they need to look at because one size cannot fit all. So maybe it needs a lot of customization to pan India to fight this COVID. So it's a very good point he had talked about. He is looking for good cash flows, delayed payments, fixed cost or to variable cost, operating in 3 shifts to ensure the social distancing. And I'm sure that this is one of the point in coming up very soon. Mr. Hemang Palan, he talked about government to act fast, downgrading should be ignored, perishable product specific schemes, diversification he talked about, migrant labor database he talked about, explore and innovation and collaboration he talked about. So thank you very much to Padmanand sir and Palan sir. My colleague, Mr. Surya Prakash God, his entire focus of the speaking was on clusters. And he talked about capacity building to be done during this time, because when the industry is down, most probably in coming time, the opportunities are coming in. So this is the best time for capacity building to cater the future market. He talked about financial literacy. He talked about new product, new market. So it's a time for thinking for the entrepreneurs who are there in the different clusters. Review of the production, workforce, procurement process, automation he talked about, and upgradation he also talked about. And most probably he had given a suggestion that bankers need to help SVBs and approach of the bankers to be region specific. Thank you all the dignified speakers previous to me. And thank you all the listeners who had eagerly listened this first webinar of NIMSME. On behalf of NIMSME, I give thanks to everybody for your patience and listening to us.
Thank you, sir. Now we are open for the question and answer sessions. So if any of the participant has any question, please send your questions with the speaker name you want to ask to directly to the moderator, that is me, and I can forward your question to the speakers. So for Sanjay sir, we have already received a question. It is from Anil Kumar Popalla. Mr. Anil Kumar has started a business and has invested a huge amount of money in the startup, but currently he has no security or collateral to give as a mortgage because TCIIC did not yet register land for him. So can he get a loan of 35 lakhs, and which schemes are good for him, sir?
Basically, it will depend what product he is manufacturing. If he's manufacturing any product related to COVID, then it can be covered under SAFE. Otherwise, our normal schemes for term loan can be considered. He can approach SIDBI with his details. We will have a look and then we will be able to guide with details. How can we help?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So
Thank you.
the next question we have from Tacid 1992. Sorry, sir, I don't know your name. So the question is, he needs to inquire about if there are any schemes for migrant workers, and can any NGO set up a support program for them?
Whom this question is addressed?
It's an open-ended question, sir. It's not addressed to any of the speakers, but you can answer it, sir.
No, as far as migrant workers are concerned, there are various NGOs which are working in this area and are providing necessary support to them in terms of staying, shelter, in terms of food and all that. Government is also trying to help to the maximum extent, but still requirement is huge. More and more NGOs, more and more stakeholders, they can come forward and help the migrant labor. That will be great, because at the end of the day, when we restart our units, we will require all our workers in our factory. So as an entrepreneur, we have to take care as a society or as a stakeholder in the overall scene. We have to take care of our migrant labor.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The next question is for Devashish Mishra, sir. The question is from Sakar Sailaja. Sailaja is a manufacturer of hand sanitizers, handmade soaps. He is ordering from, he has orders from Indian Railways and Ministry of Home Affairs for supply of hand sanitizers worth 15 lakhs. So his request for working capital is kept aside because he is unable to provide collateral security. Can he have any support from the bank, sir?
Okay, since I have already mentioned about the COVID emergency line, so all our borrowers can avail this 10% emergency line without any collateral, without any requirement of additional collateral also. So we'll have to look at the orders in hand and what is the capacity to manufacture, and what are the raw materials to be purchased, or what are the costs to be incurred for manufacturing these raw materials, and we can always finance. I think I heard this name before. It's from Karimnagar. So they can approach the nearby branch. I'll also put a word to the branch to take care of them.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, we have an open-ended question from Wugi Anjaya. So they need to know about some projects for development of rural people. Any of the speakers who can provide some insight into this? Also,
I may take this. In fact, Padmanand here, in fact, the agri sector has been very, relatively very lucky in this context, meaning the government has been supported there in all states to set up customizing centers, to operate the APMCs, to directly market produce even without the APMCs to customers, to offer credit, to offer farm implement without cost, like tractors and that kind of thing. So the agri sector has been relatively blessed despite the constraints. So I think this is a support which is offered to the agri and rural sector particularly.
Thank you, sir. The next question is for Devashish Mishra, sir. It is from Dr. K. Vishweshwara Reddy. He says that liquidity is the need of the hour. What measures are taken for increasing the liquidity flow through increasing WC limit to 20%?
See, I told elaborately before these two schemes. One is that emergency credit line for the COVID, and second is liberalized working capital assessment. These two are specifically aimed at providing liquidity. So here we are trying to assess the requirement of the unit for the additional working capital, and based on the projections, we are going to arrive at the requirement and provide the limit within maximum 2 days, because the requirement is very fast, so we can't delay in this. That's why I mentioned that we have totally removed the pre-sanction in this lockdown period. We have delegated the sanctioning powers to the local level so that the sanction happens the same day. Third thing is the stamping, which is another hurdle in this lockdown period. That also we are making it postponed by 90 days so that the disbursement can happen immediately. So if I can tell you some figures, right now the latest figure I have is more than 1,500 people have taken this loan in Telangana from SBI, amount to around more than 250 crores. So all these people have already availed this emergency credit line, and they have been investing. They have been paying salaries. They are buying their necessary raw materials, and they're also quickly coming out of these scenarios. Let me tell the MSMEs here one bit of advice to everyone, that this time is for survival. So if you have plans for expansion, plans for taking modernization, kindly postpone for some time. This time you please revive your unit, come to the full cycle, then take over other things which are coming on the way. I hope I am clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next, we have one more question for Jan, sir. This is from Prasada Rajuji. He says that they are a 16-year-old company with 18 crore turnover manufacturing agriculture machinery. So he wants you to suggest a loan. They have 6 crore orders and they need working capital.
Yes, certainly we can consider. They can approach us. What exactly is the requirement? What are their past performance? And then who are their existing bankers? All these details they can come forward. Then we can consider the proposal for additional assistance.
So, sir, during this COVID-19 lockdown, actually, it's not possible for people to physically visit your branches. So,
Yes.
is there a help site online also?
Here we have an online application form. Plus, I have shared my email ID, my mobile number also. You can email me brief of your proposal. Then I can discuss your phone. Then we can see how best we can do online. What we are trying to do is without physically, like we have waived the physical inspection before sanctioning. Documentation also sometime is given because nowadays we are not getting set up. Like SBI, all institutions are also similarly taking some way out how to help the customer. We have also extended number of loans during last 25-30 days for under safe particularly, because this is the time where country needs to have products like ventilator or the sanitizer or mask or like that. So we have already extended number of loans through this medium. Online application is filed. We talk to them over phone. We do the visit through Skype, and then do the documentation on simple paper with the undertaking that due course stamp paper will be done. So all these processes are there in place. We can take care of it. Don't worry.
Okay, sir. So, I think, sir, all the necessary details that the people need to follow are already mentioned on your website. So,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
people can visit your websites, it will be clear to them.
Yes, absolutely. All the schemes are there on our website, and they can go through the scheme. And online application can be filed through our website. There is a link given there, and then they can submit that.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to thank all the speakers for their valuable time and inputs. We have certainly learned a lot about how to cope with the COVID-19 period, sir. And due to the time constraint, we are unable to take up all the questions, but we will try to take up more queries from the next session. So I would like to extend my thanks and would like to ask Dibyendu sir to conclude the meeting once. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much to one and all for such a learning session we had over here. I may request to all the entrepreneurs to come and visit to our site because this is the first public webinar we have launched, and we have brought bankers, we have brought entrepreneurs, and we have got also entrepreneurs into audience. So I'm sure that this is really a great interactive session where both the side, all the stakeholders of MSMEs are here. And discuss their problem. And most probably in coming time, there will be taking so many other webinars in coming time because we are all lockdown situation. We are unable to go to office or to our work. And in that kind of scenario, maybe this kind of discussion will bring in some kind of takeaways, which will be really tangible and that will be learning for us also. And it's a great occasion, and our Director General, who has motivated us to do this particular program, to take it up to the level of entrepreneurs, and all the organizers who are working at the back of the scene, that special thanks to you, all of you, so that this kind of program will continue and we get success. And others for all our distinguished guests. Sir, thank you very much for all your valuable time you have shared with us, all your suggestions, and I'm sure that you guys will be again coming in different point. And any type of questions we receive through different of our viewers, will be interacting with you through email, and we'll get the answer and we'll send it to them, and that's how we'll work. And NIMSME being established in 1962, we are the pioneer organization in throughout the India to promote the concept of entrepreneurship. So our role is to promote the entrepreneurship to the grassroots level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to request all our participants today, if you have not registered on our website yet, please do register. That would make it easier for